Hi guys! Welcome back to our channel, and this is Lorraine again for another vlog. And for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the difference between an RN, which is a registered nurse, and an LVN, which is a licensed vocational nurse or licensed practical nurse. So, here in the US, I think it varies with different states. There are certain regulations per state regarding RNs and LPNs or LVNs. So, I'll be sharing naman yung mga information na I know can be applied in California. But I think there's like similarities naman with another states. But you could search that online. You could check their website. What will be the requirements, things like that. So now I'm gonna be telling you kung ano yung difference ng RN and LVN in terms of education, salary, duties, or yung functions. And then from there you could choose kung like for example RN kayo sa Pilipinas, and then pagdating nyo ng states, if whether you want to be an RN or an LVN, so you could choose. You have the choice. So for number one, for education, RN, you can be called RN, or you're gonna have license for RN if you have a BSN degree or Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree, or you have associate degree in nursing. So what's the difference between the BSN and ADN? So BSN technically will take up to 4 years of schooling, compared to ADN, which is associate, which will take up to 2 years. So basically, you're gonna be called RN whether you have your BSN or your ADN degree. So that's from what I learned. And then compared to LVN, it's shorter in length. It will take up to 12 months. 12 months you can have your LVN already. It depends. Kung kukunin nyo lahat ng units nyo, I think it will take you up to 12 months. Pero kung like you're working and then you're getting your LVN degree, maybe you could take how many units muna, and then you could do it up to 2 years, my guess. So but this is applicable for those students here in the US. But if you're an RN in the Philippines, you have the choice to do to have your LVN license by just challenging the exam. They call it NCLEX LVN. Okay, so you'll just have to submit to the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technician. That's what they call the board. Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians, or Psychometric Technicians, I should say, sorry. So you're gonna be doing your application there, and then online you have to sign up your Breeze account, DCA Breeze account, and then from there you could initiate your application. And then there are certain requirements you can see on their website, and then you just have to submit the requirements that you could provide them. Otherwise, yung ibang mga requirements, your school has to provide it directly to be sent out to the board. Yun ang requirement ng board. You're not allowed to submit yung mga documents na should be coming from your school. So that I just want to make clear about that, kasi hindi tatanggapin ng board, or hindi i-validate ng board if galing sa inyo. You should ask your school to send those documents sa board. So, going back. Same with RN. Same with NCLEX RN. When you send your documents, kung ano yung mga requirements na you could provide yourself, you could send that via mail or via online, which is through DCA Breeze. That's what I did. Okay? I signed up with a Breeze account, and then dun ako start ng application ko. Kasi from what I heard, it's easier for the board to review your requirements, your documents, kapag online kang nag-apply. But you could also do by mail, pero it takes time. That's what I heard. So I just did online, which is easier din kasi easy access. You could just check kung meron pa ba kayong kailangang i-send. Kasi i-attach mo lang naman yung mga documents mo dun, and then you could send them. So, like for example, on my case, I already sent my SSN, which is my Social Security number, yung ID ko. And then, siguro hindi nila natanggap. So, in-attach ko lang siya ulit dun sa online account ko, sa Breeze account ko, and then na-receive na nila. So, so that's for the education. So, RN, you should have BSN or ADN degree. And then, for LVN, you should have the LVN degree, no? But gaya nga, with the exception of being an RN in the Philippines, you could just challenge your LVN exam. That's the difference. So for the salary, this is based on different websites, no? Say ito yung parang average lang. It depends on what state you are in, and based on your experience too. Syempre, pag baguhan ka, pag newly licensed ka, new nurse ka, syempre, mas mababa. Yung parang basic pay lang ang makukuha mo. And then, it takes time. Pagka tumagal ka na sa work, eventually, you're gonna have a salary increase. And then, when you move to another work, like if you're working in a nursing home, medyo mas mababa yun compared to when you're working in a hospital or any specialized area. When you work in a hospital and you work on specialized area, like for example, you're working in delivery room, operating room, emergency room, things like that. So doon nagbabago din ang salary ng nurse. From what I heard, ang pinakamahal na type of nurse here in the US is the nurse anesthetist. Parang anesthesiologist ka, pero hindi ka doctor. But you have to study then and then get the license para maging nurse anesthetist. Which is, alam ko, kind of expensive din siya. Pero siguro worth it naman kasi when you get your license and you become a nurse anesthetist, mas higher ang chance po to get, higher salary. More dollars, diba? And then second is the nurse practitioner. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if God permits, maybe I could study again and eventually get my nurse practitioner license. But for now, I'm okay being an RN. So, ang average median salary for an RN, median salary it could be higher, it could be lower. So, between $65,000 to $75,000 a year, that's the annual salary. So, it varies. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, it depends upon the state. Because like for here in California, cost of living is so high, taxes are so high. So, even if you earn much or you earn more than other states, your cost of living, parang it's just even. It's even. Even if you get more, you get to be paid more. Mahal din ang cost of living. So, yeah. So, between 65 to 75, that's the median salary. But, from what I heard from one of my reliable source, you could earn up to $200,000 a year if you become a nurse anesthetist or a nurse practitioner. Or maybe any specialized area na you work on. Or, matagal ka na sa service. Yon, ganon. So for LVN naman, you could earn up to 45 to 60,000. That's the average median salary. But you could earn I think as much as 70 or 80,000 depending on your years of experience and your setting. If you're working in a hospital, or you're working in a nursing home or rehabilitation center, or you're working in a dialysis center, things like that. So it varies then. At least you could see the range, no, from comparing from RN to LVN. So with regards to duties and responsibilities, all of the responsibilities of an LVN, RN can do it, you know. But not all the responsibilities and duties or functions or roles of an RN, LVN can't do. Not all. No, not all. Like for example, the LVN or LPN, licensed vocational or licensed practical nurse, can administer oral, rectal, or topical meds. They can do physical assessment. They can monitor or assess vital signs. They can do transferring. They can do feeding, assisting with ADLs, dressings, things like that. Wound treatment, wound change, wound dressing, ostomy care, inserting of urinary catheter, urinary care, perineal care. You could insert NGT. You could initiate CPR. You could execute nursing plan formulated by an RN. It depends. Some LVNs can also do nursing plan, can also make their nursing plan. It depends on your hospital policy or your facilities policy. You could monitor patients in long-term or inpatient setting, things like that. You could also do IV medications if you have certification as an LVN. If you're an RN, you don't need to have a certification because you're an RN already. But if you're an LVN, some hospitals or some institutions or facilities, they're not allowing LVNs to do the IVs. But for some facilities, they allow, but you have to have a certification that you are licensed to do IV. So there's an exception. So for an RN, you could do all of the things that an LVN can do, and then on top of that, you can administer blood products. You could develop plan of care. You could admit and discharge patients. LVN, I think, can do that too. It depends on your hospital or facilities policy. You could take MD orders and carry them out. You could, this is the most important, documentation. I think both LVN and RN can do documentation. You can administer chemo or anti-neoplastic drugs. You can do wound care and most especially assessment. I think nurses, RN can, the most important role is to assessment. That's the important thing. And then you could perform and lead basic life support or BLS, ACLS, and pediatric ALS. Okay, things like that. But LVN can do that too. But you have, here in California, you have to have the license, or not, I mean that, like the certificate. So Red Cross, they provide it. You just have to pay, I think, around $120. I am not sure. The last time I had it, I did it with American Heart Association or AHA, kasi yun yung approved ng pinapasukan kong work. And I think that's the safest. I think Red Cross, you can get your certificate there too. And then what else? You will or you should supervise LPNs or LVNs, CNAs. And then you could delegate tasks to your LPN and to your CNAs. So basically, you have the leadership role. Okay, supervision and then leadership. So basically, both RN and LPNs has like parehas lang ng responsibility. Medyo meron lang certain roles na RN lang ang pwedeng gumawa. Yeah. So, yeah. So from there, you could choose whether you want to be an RN or LVN. It's up to you. You know, you have your own timeline. No pressure. If you want, if like kagaya ng sinabi ko from my previous vlog, na others are not lucky enough to get eligibility for NCLEX RN. So I have friends na they opted to do LVN, challenge LVN exam, and then luckily they passed, and they're working LVN now. And then while working as an LVN, they are studying for those 2 or 3 classes na require ng board for them to get their eligibility for RN. So that's okay then, di ba? You could have your LVN license, and then eventually pag eligible na kayo to take RN, you could apply for RN na, diba? And then the thing is, your advantage is you already work as an LVN, so it's easier na lang for you pag nag-RN na kayo, diba? Unlike for me, my first job, RN na ako kaagad, so medyo nangapa pa ako kasi first job ko yung dito sa US as nurse in a nursing home or in a skilled nursing and rehab center. So, medyo nangapa ako, medyo nahirapan din ako, ganyan. Kasi, syempre, ang alam kong setting sa Philippines. And then, when I work here, medyo nanibago ako. Pero, you know naman, it takes time naman. Kasi, yung mga roles mo naman as a nurse, andyan naman yan eh, di ba? Yung mga skills mo naman as a nurse, nandyan naman yan eh. Diba? Hindi naman mawawala yun sa'yo kasi nurse ka na, diba? So, kailangan mo lang i-refresh yung mind mo, no? I-practice ulit yung mga skills na natutunan mo na before. So, yun lang. I hope nakatulong ako. So, if you have any questions, I'm very much willing to reply, to answer yung mga yung mga concerns nyo regarding RN and LVN. So, yun lang. Kung meron kayong gustong i-share ko pa na ibang topics regarding nursing, just comment down below and then I'll make a video dun sa mga suggestions nyo. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from me. And I hope, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do a shout out to Miss April Lu. Sabi niya na she's been watching my vlog, my first vlog about nursing since nilabas ko yung video, and I was just happy na kahit papano, kahit na small YouTuber lang ako, may mga nai-inspire ako na kapwa ko nurse, and it makes my heart flattered talaga. So I hope na marami pa akong kapwa ko nurse na ma-inspire ko and matulungan ko rin. Basta wag muna financially kasi medyo hindi pa tayo dyan. Baguhan pa lang tayo, pero with knowledge, skills, and yung mga natutunan ko, mga learnings ko, I can impart them to you naman, guys, diba? Okay, so thank you so much for watching again. Ang dami kong kuda, ang dami kong sinabi na naman, haba-haba na ng vlog ko. But, if may questions kayo, or may suggestions kayo, may gusto kayong iparating sa akin, or something like that, I am free to answer. Thank you so much, guys! Thank you so much, my fellow RNs, and kudos to you guys. Good luck to your journey, and God bless! Bye-bye!